The Eagles and the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
But first, let's take a timeout.
Welcome back to the T&T Timeout. As always, I'm your host, Trevor.
As always, I am your other host, Trey.
And we're here to talk about some pretty awesome conference championship games, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, that's the main topic, so we're going to get right into it. But both games were really good. Obviously, the one was way better for us watching than maybe unbiased fans. But still, 55 points got scored, so I think that's pretty electric.
I agree. Should be a fun Super Bowl. We'll save our Super Bowl talk for next week. We got a week to decompress.
Yeah.
But might
touch on some things here and there about the game, but next week's going to be all Super Bowl talk. So stay tuned for next week. Maybe a surprise in the episode.
Oh. It could be cool. I wonder what it's going to be.
You never know. Maybe two surprises. Maybe multiple.
Let's start with this Eagles game, though.
Yeah, first game, NFC
this
Championship
Eagles-Commanders game.
Commanders at Eagles. Eagles were minus 6.5, and by God did they cover. 55-23. It was a 32-point win for the Birds, and they just looked good. It got a little close in the middle for a little bit. It was was it one score? It was 11 points.
It was always two scores. But
yeah, it was never
for a
one
while,
score.
You were they're in spitting distance. For a while, it kind of felt like that. And to be honest, if we go all the way back to the first drive, they're moving the ball on us, converting fourth downs. I was getting a little nervous, damn, they're really moving it and they're converting all these fourth downs. But Trey made a good point. He said they're not going to keep converting fourth downs every drive. That was a great point.
The defense looked good first drive, even though the Commanders had a 18-play, 7-minute drive. They converted 2 fourth downs on it, and props to the Commanders. They were rolling, but they couldn't get anything more than 3 to 5 yards every play, and that's not going to be something that's going to be able to beat this Eagles offense. And I did call that out right away, and that was true for the rest of the game. I don't think they converted 2 fourth downs in one drive, even the last one, because threw a pick on that last fourth down attempt.
Yeah, but there was just something absolutely electric about first. So we're a little nervous. First offensive play. Boom. It was a crazy run by Saquon too. What was it, 60 yards?
60 yards.
And it was crazy. He cut across the field, spins out of a tackle, breaks another, runs it all the way across the other side of the field. Gone.
Mailata with a huge block. He pushed A.J. Brown into 2 guys like bowling pins to take him out for Saquon. Saquon breaks a tackle, spins, and then is off to the races. My watch party, everybody was standing. This is a 70-plus crowd we're talking, and they were all getting hype. It was electric. Great start to the game.
I went to this Eagles bar here in Boston. It's called Scores. Shout out to Scores. And we got there at 1:30. They opened at 1. We got there at 1:30. We were being a little lazy. We were we'll be able to get a table at 1:30.
Mm-hmm.
Every single table in the place was taken, and the ground level was so full that the corridor to get to the upstairs level was backed up.
Wow.
And they were pushing us all through. We went upstairs. It was shoulder to shoulder up there. That's an hour and a half before game time. So I got out of there. I'm an old man. I want to sit. I want to eat some wings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking by. There's a big Bills flag. And I was that seems kind of fun. So I go into this bar, and it ends up being a Bills bar. They had one table left at 1:45 for the Bills game.
Was it just you, or were you did your friends stay at the Eagles bar?
I had 2 of my buddies with me there as well. Some of my friends stayed at the Eagles bar, but then the 3 of us went to this Bills bar.
Nice.
Dude, it was electric even there. And so many people were I don't know if anyone was cheering for the Commanders.
That's
I felt
good,
a little bad. But Bills fans were really excited about this Eagles game. They were let's see the Eagles win. That's awesome. Bills-Eagles would be such a fun Super Bowl. And then we started to pull away, and they were wait, we don't really want to play the Eagles. We want to play the Commanders. And I'm come on now. But it was a cool place to be. It was fun for half the Bills game. And then we left.
Yeah.
But if we get back to football.
Yeah, more on the Eagles game. 8 total touchdown for the Eagles. 7 of them rushing. Most ever in a postseason game in NFL history. Saquon, 7 rushes of 60 or more for a touchdown. Most in NFL history by 3 ever. This is including postseason and regular season. And the Eagles now hold the NFL record for regular season, postseason rushing yards in a season as a team with 3,700 or something stupid. Which
That's
means,
ridiculous.
Think about, like, Saquon has, what now, including, like, 2,500 yards, including all these games? That means we still scrap together, like, 1,200 yards through our backups and Jalen Hurts, our quarterback.
I mean, Will Shipley almost had the longest touchdown of the game.
That boy was getting tired. That was like Jay Ajayi running down the field back in the day. He knew he was done. He just held it up and was waiting for the hit.
It was awesome, though.
I'm glad they got him in, though.
I will say, I don't want to be all Eagles. Jaden Daniels looked awesome. He looked really good. He made a lot of good decisions. And, like, even the turnovers were not really his fault. Like, one was a fumble.
I mean,
he completed a touch pass.
Were any of them his fault?
I don't think so.
I mean, the pick wasn't even really his fault either. He had to do it.
What else can you do? Yeah.
Yeah.
He did have some bad throws. He didn't look unbeatable, but he played pretty well. He's pretty.
Yeah, but I think that also has to do
poised.
with the Eagles' defense was just. I mean, I've been saying it every week. The Eagles' defense is crazy. It's every single guy. Oren Burks, backup linebacker, gets another forced fumble. Say it every week. He gets a forced fumble every week. Zach Bond, All-Pro Bond, Defense Player of the Year Bond, forced fumble. Forget who got the other one. Will Shipley, forced fumble, and Kenneth Gainwell, fumble recovery. Like, what are we doing?
When was that?
They fumbled the kickoff return.
That's right. Oh, my
And Will
God.
Shipley forced it, and Kenneth Gainwell, 2 running backs.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
And then
That's
Quinyon
awesome.
Mitchell, icing on the top, pick at the end of the game, won my parlay, which was pretty nice, and sealed the game as if it already wasn't sealed, but really sealed it.
Yeah, and it's just good to see him getting a couple interceptions in the playoffs. Because
He got none in the regular season, now he's got 2.
Yeah. No one threw his way. Now you have to.
He
What are you gonna
locked
do?
up, Quinyon Mitchell locked up Terry McLaurin 3 games this season.
It's pretty incredible.
I mean, I still believe Jared Verse is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year just because I don't think they want to give it to a corner that has 0 picks. But because like Quinyon Mitchell, a lot of his stats aren't like the main categories or things that a lot of his contributions are like non-stats, like just how much quarterbacks don't throw to their number ones because he's just locking them up. Like he has a lot of pass breakups and pass defenses, but not as many as other people because they just don't throw his way. But he has been so good. I wanted to draft him first round. We got him. I love the guy. And I mean, also, we got Cooper Jean, which, like, he's been a stud.
Dude, did you see him yesterday? Riding shotgun at the Flyers game?
Riding shotgun in a Zamboni.
It's awesome. That's one thing I love about Philadelphia sports is, like, whenever we're on one of these playoff runs, you just see these guys, like, all over the city.
Yeah, and
like
all the teams support each other.
Yep. Everybody's just doing Eagles chants all night at the Flyers game. I love to see that. I'm sure other teams do it too, but I don't really see it because I'm not there. But you want to hear something my barber told me that had me real pissed off? So I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Are you going to go back to Philly?" So I'm in Boston for anyone. I mean, I think everyone that's listening to this podcast knows that. But I met my barber yesterday, and he's like, "Yeah, so you're going to go to the parade?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. Like, it's hard for me to, like, be home that much because I need to be in Boston for work, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "So, how old are you?" I'm like, 24. He's like, "Yeah. When I was a kid, we would try to go to most of them, but, like, for a while there, we would just be like, we'll go to the next one." And it would be, like, 3 months later. I'm like, dude, shut up, man.
Boston fans were so spoiled. They still are spoiled.
That's just crazy because it's true.
Yeah, they'd be like, we don't need to go to the Patriots. The Celtics will win in 4 months. Oh, the Red Sox are going to take it home this year. Oh, don't worry, the Bruins are going to get it. Oh, wait, Patriots season's back up.
Yeah,
shut up.
Crazy. I hate it. I mean, good for them. But
I've never been to a parade. I was too young for the Phillies in 08, and in 17, my dad lied to me, so we didn't go.
Do you want to talk about that, or rather not?
Yeah. He said we were going to go. Me and him were going to go. So, like, our friend group was going, and they invited me, and I was like, no, I'm going with my dad. I'm good, thanks. And then my dad was gonna wake me up the morning of, and then I woke up myself at like 9 o'clock, and I was like, what's going on? He was like, oh, I thought it'd be better to watch on the TV.
No.
I was like, are you kidding me? And then everybody I knew already left. I wasn't gonna drive down myself and try to find them, and I was pissed. But I think if it happens this year, I think I got a way in.
So, I gotta be honest, it was like cool to be there, and the energy was awesome. But I can only really remember two things. Well, really three. The first thing being, it was so unbelievably cold. I had the most layers possible, and I was freezing. It was unbelievably cold. That's the first thing I remember. The second thing I remember is that it was so hard to take a piss.
Yeah.
I was there with my dad, and there was like a row of porta-johns. We probably waited for 40 minutes. We run into this porta-john because everyone's hustling in and out. We're both in the same potty. I'm pissing in the toilet. He's pissing in the urinal.
Respect.
And some dude is jumping up and down on the roof. Like, we think it's going to cave in, so we're like trying to get out of there. And, like, I don't know, like, maybe that would be fun if I was, like, drinking or something, but, like, I was with my dad, dead sober. We're just, like, I'm like, this is weird. The third thing I remember is Jason Kelsey's incredible speech, but I was, like, 300 yards down the block, like, nowhere near it, and ended up watching it later, and it was incredible. But it's fun to be part of that energy, but that's, like, really all
it's fun. It's fun to go and, like, be around everybody, but you're only at the parade for, like, a couple minutes, and then it's past, and like it's not like you can move with it. You can't really go anywhere else. You gotta pick your spot, get what you get.
It's kind of how like being at a football game is, if I'm being honest. Like, you can see the game, but you can see it much better from your couch, but the energy is like incredible. Like, I would go to all the Penn State games and you get like the energy, but if you want to watch like a good battle, sometimes it's better to just be on the couch. But
I've only ever been to one Eagles game, and I would much rather watch it. If I'm going to spend money, like, Eagles tickets especially are super expensive. I'm going to send that to money and parking and time. I'd rather just get a party with everybody, buy some food and drinks, and watch it intently in front of the TV instead of not being able to see, except for, like, some minute plays here and there.
Facts. Exactly. Plus, shout out to the Short Kings. Sometimes it's tough to see out there.
Yeah, my dad knew someone, so we were like first level, but it was on one of the end zones, so we only saw like half the plays really.
Okay.
And even if we didn't really see any of you still really couldn't tell when they were still at like the 40-yard line. It was only when they're at the end zone, which they're only there for 2 quarters.
Yeah. Right.
Let's get back into the game though.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it said 7 rushing, 3 from Hurts, 3 from Saquon, 1 from Will Shipley at the end, his first career. AJ Brown caught a pass. Hair looks good.
Thanks, brother. Haircut yesterday.
Hair debut on the pod. I am tooting my own horn again. I said divisional round or wild card round that like the offense is slow because we didn't play week 18. We're gonna ramp up, and then divisional round we ramped up a little bit, but we still weren't passing it. It was really Saquon. It was also snowing. This week, they were fine on all cylinders. Hurts looked good. Hurts dropped a dime, 4th and 5 to Brown. He was making some good decisions. He was rolling out. He was throwing the ball away. He was sliding, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage when there was linemen downfield, and he couldn't throw it away. I thought he was making some smart decisions, making good throws, knowing when to pass. Like, there's a couple mistakes, but, I mean, everybody has mistakes every game. Even the great Patrick Mahomes.
For sure. No, I agree. It was definitely a nice, complete game. It was good to see. And then we ended up on him a little bit at the end, which was also exciting.
Yeah, like, the crazy thing is, like, if the Commanders like would have scored maybe some more, the Eagles could have scored more too. Like, we had Will Shipley in there, and he scored pretty fast because he had the big run. But like at the end of the game, it was kind of just like Commanders running it, we're running it. We probably could have scored into the 60s if it was a closer game, which is scary. And I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. We can start talking about the next game, unless you got something else to add.
I was gonna say if we can put up 40 points in the Super Bowl, I'd feel really good. If the Eagles put up 40 in the Super Bowl,
if we put up 30 in the Super Bowl, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think the Chiefs have done 29 this week.
32.
Oh, they kicked field goal. Okay, yeah.
I did
So
say
they
last
did
week that
score
they didn't score 30 like all year, but they did it last week, so maybe they blew their load a little early.
Let's get into it then. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Bills at Chiefs. Chiefs were favored. I think it was like 1.5 or something. And the Chiefs won by 3. It was a great game. The ending got a little testy. We can go right into the most controversial part. Do you think it was a first down on the 4th and 1 or whatever it was, 4th down?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it was a first down. I saw some aerial views that for sure made it look like Josh Allen got over that line, but I will say it was extremely close. If that was the first time something happened, like if that was the first weird call this season, I probably wouldn't have much of a problem. But the fact that everyone's looking for it and everyone feels like the refs are favoring the Chiefs, they immediately go down the field and score after that. It changes the entire complexion of the game. It was a little questionable. There's also like that. I mean, I think some people were calling controversy over the two guys come down with the same football. I'm pretty sure that's always tie goes to the receiver in that situation.
Oh yeah,
like
I do think that was a catch by Worthy.
I agree,
but I think that I like convincingly think that was a first down by Josh Allen, and I don't really care if the Bills won. Like I've said before, I kind of want revenge on the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs are worse than the Bills. And I watched the video as well. It was like it had like 3D planes of the first down from like 8 views, and every single one has them going over, and like it's barely over. But even on that main one they were showing, like I know Chris Jones was in the way, but Chris Jones was on the first down marker. So if the ball's going behind Chris Jones, it's over the first down marker. Right. I just think that's crazy. That I don't know, and who knows what would have happened. It's not like the Bills would have won. It's not like it was the last drive. It was like there's still time left in the game, but I thought that was a bad call.
Do you think that games are rigged one way, or do you think it's just a bad call? Like, do you think anyone cares who wins that game?
I don't think the games are rigged. I really don't.
I don't really either.
For games to be rigged, like think about all the people that would have to know that they are rigged and have to like coordinate for things to happen, and how would none of that get leaked?
Yeah,
all the employees from every team, players, refs, coaches, staff members, like trainers, like all of these people would have to have some knowledge. Security, like everybody would have some knowledge of inklings of this, and it gets spread.
Yeah, like I even have a friend in Boston, and she's dating someone who's on the staff of the Washington Commanders. Like, I'm pretty sure he would get a ring if they won. Like,
yeah,
I think everyone
they give
on
him
the
the staff
staff
members.
does. And it's like, you're telling me even that guy has, like, he would have to know that something is up. It's like that. I don't think that could be, but I think that there is potentially a chance that they tell the refs, "Hey, if you have to." One way or another.
they can definitely be a little more favorable, but even so, they still got to play football. They still got to make the plays.
Exactly.
I don't think there's rigging.
And then I will defend the Chiefs a little bit. Like we say, like, oh, they win all these close games and they get all these calls. But if you look at the games, it's like they blocked a field goal, or like the Raiders fumbled a snap. Like it's not like, okay, was the call on that fumble a little questionable? Could have been a dead ball foul, yeah. But it's like you still fumbled the snap. Like maybe you should not have done that. I think the thing is the Chiefs put themselves in the position to win, and a lot of these teams make mistakes that gives up the game, and you don't see the Chiefs making those mistakes. They're just Patrick Mahomes is very mature, and Andy Reid is a good coach, and they're just always in the position where if they're not going to win the game, they're not going to lose the game. They're not going to throw it away. And
yep, they won 17 straight one-score games, most in NFL history, which is nuts. And I mean, yeah, they lost to the Bills early in the season by more than one score, obviously. So that's why I feel very strongly. I'm not going to talk about the Super Bowl, but I feel very strongly about the Eagles because of what our defense has been doing and how our offense has been progressing every week. And hopefully, I'm hoping for an outcome like that first Bills matchup where they just can't catch up to us.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But how
about the game itself?
Mahomes rushing 2 times into the end zone, looking like prime Carson Wentz,
prime
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Two
I mean,
rushes into the end zone. Kareem Hunt got in. Worthy was a workhorse. He had some nice catches, nice runs. He had a touchdown.
I'm just ahead on these game plans, man.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to run that ball with Worthy. I just got the week wrong. How about Mac Hollins on the other side of the ball?
Mac Hollins.
He had a couple awesome catches. He had the one for a touchdown and the other one that was down to like
deep
the 5.
Mm-hmm.
They're both like these Mawson guys.
He is. I did not know he was the touchdown leader, receiving touchdown leader for the Bills.
Is he? I mean,
Yeah,
I
he
was
is.
surprised.
He has
Caught
like
quite a
7.
few.
So is Mac Hollins wide receiver 1?
I think on their depth chart, he's listed as like he's probably
He's probably
behind
4.
Shakir,
Coleman and Cooper.
Coleman. But he
Yeah,
gets the
probably
job
4.
done.
Yeah, he's
Probably
a
pay
solid
attention to him a
4th
little less, and
option.
he's not bad. Yeah. How come he was never balling for the Eagles? We talk about the Eagles too much.
Hey,
but
he won a ring. He won the ring for the Eagles. He helped.
he did. He did.
Not going to win another one this year. But yeah, this game was very entertaining. It was pretty back and forth. Bills took the lead, and then Chiefs took a 2-score lead, and then the Bills came back and took a lead, and the Chiefs took a lead, and then the Bills tied it, and then the field goal, and then the Bills couldn't get it done. And how about that Kincaid on 4th down? Allen just threw it up in the air, making a great play by Allen to be able to, because they rushed like 7 guys and they got right to him, and he managed to turn all the way around, just throw it up and put his guy in a position to be able to catch it. And I mean, he should have caught it.
He should have caught it.
No one's around him. It's not like it was on his fingertips. It was like it was in his hands.
What do you think that flag was?
I was watching the game and I was like, oh, there's a flag, and then they just didn't talk about it, and I was like, what was that? I saw something that one of the announcers or something said that it was on the Bills, so they just picked it up or something. Like it got declined anyway. It was like a illegal shift or something.
Right. Yeah, I heard if he caught that ball, they were calling that flag.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the refs were just interested. Like in the Eagles games, the Eagles won by 32. I don't care. But the refs were terrible. They were missing calls left and right.
There wasn't a flag for like 20 minutes.
Which is
Actually,
I'm fine with letting them play. But when it's like something's egregious, like just call it. Or there was a play on Goddard. I called it out to our group chat where like the corner was just mugging him. He got tug on the arm. He was getting drugged down, and the ref was staring right at him and went like this. And then the ref across the field threw the flag, and I was like, how is that ref looking at that play?
He's hugging him.
There's no one else near. There's no other distractions. It is just 1-on-1, and you can just see him getting tackled, and he doesn't call it.
I genuinely think that we need to get back to. There was a period of time where you could review PIs. I think it was.
Yeah, it was like 1 year.
I don't
They
know
just
why
never-
there's
they
not
never
more
overturned them.
reviewable penalties. It has to hurt viewership eventually, right? So many people are talking about it and getting pissed off now about calls. I hate when officiating plays a role in the game.
I don't think the PI did not like. They had that and it didn't work because like some things are so subjective, and it's like, can you really overturn it to say that it is? Like, there's obviously some like extreme cases that you can say it, but they have been getting better at calling. I think penalties in general. It's just sometimes almost now they like are afraid to call them in case they're wrong. But I think next year they're going to be able to review face masks because there's been a couple in multiple games, like not just the Eagles games, but like watching the red zone. There's always face masks. Like people's heads get turned around. They don't call the penalty. Like that should be one every single time. You should be able to tell if that guy's neck is getting turned for someone grabbing his face mask, and that should be something reviewable because that's objective.
Yeah, and it's also not great for the athletes to be getting whiplash in the middle of a football game. No, I agree. I think could be some off-season talk about how we're going to manage penalties.
Yeah, we can sit down and we can go through the handbook.
Rule
my senior
3.
My senior paper was on like review times and rules in sports.
Really?
And like action time and what sports have the most action plays and most time taken away from the game.
Baseball. They get a lot of downtime.
No, baseball has
Not
the most
because
action plays actually.
Really?
Yeah, because every play something happens. Football has the most
That's
downtime.
fair. But there's the most time between plays, I feel like.
I don't know. I forget this. I forget the stats, but
Okay.
football is like by and far the least action game because unless you have a game like this Eagles game, most games are like incompletion, 5 yard pass, punt, and like those don't count as action plays.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
And NFL's the review times have been increasing for like the last like 5 years every year on how long they take. Which this was a few years ago, so they might be getting better with like the expedited replay. But we don't need to talk about that.
Right.
Yeah, 2 good games. We're getting the Eagles and Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. We a little tease. Do you like the Birds +2? I'm gonna get the live update. It was going back between 1.5 and 2.
I'm honestly always afraid of the Chiefs. I feel like everybody wants to see the three-peat. They're going to get all their calls. We got to play good football.
I don't think anybody wants to see the 3-peat.
I think you'd be surprised. People really
It's
hate the
1.5
Eagles,
right now.
man.
I know people hate the Eagles, but I think people hate the Chiefs now because they're getting Patriots vibes.
I think that viewership might be down this year.
Yeah, I was watching the Pat McAfee show today, and they were talking about that. How last year was the record-breaking viewership, and they're like, "Will it be up this year?" Because the Eagles are more popular than the Niners, and they're saying like, "I don't think so," because they were looking at the Patriots when they were in 3 in a row. It went like down every year, so they think they're predicting that it's going to go down this year.
What a poor year. If we go back on championships, we had the Celtics over the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? I feel like people are sick of the Celtics. Then we had
The Dodgers.
the Dodgers and the Yankees. Yikes.
Yikes.
And now we're Eagles fans, so we're happy, but I feel like people are not excited to see Chiefs Eagles. I don't know. Maybe this is big time media taking over, brother. We're getting away from the sport. We're getting into money.
And we'll save the Super Bowl for next week. I just wanted to throw it out there.
Absolutely.
What do you want to talk about? Some coaches in the NFL getting moved around?
Why not? Let's stay in football.
Stay in the football world. There was 7 open jobs for a head coaching position. 6 have been filled. How do you want to do this? Just run
give us
through
a bit
them?
of a recap?
Yeah. The Bears got Ben Johnson from the Lions. I think a great hire.
I'm gonna interject there.
We can do
Did
one
you,
by
by
one.
any chance, see the clip of the kid that texted Caleb Williams?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, this is Ben Johnson.
Ben
I wanted to
Johnson,
let you know
yeah.
before it hits mainstream media, but like
Hey,
I'm
he
gonna
knew.
be your coach." And he's like, "Oh, no way, that's awesome!" And he FaceTimes him.
Caleb said that he was like pissed. Like he was like acting like a good sport, but as soon as he got off that FaceTime, he was so mad.
He actually was a really good sport. It made me like the guy a little bit, but I'm not surprised. I would be pissed, but it was really funny.
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson was far and away the best like option this year. I think he made a good move by staying with the Lions the past 2 seasons and not taking a head coaching job, because we see all these like first-time head coaches that have little success with a team, and then they get hired to be a head coach because they want to get the next big thing, and then they just fail. So I think it's good that he like kept his role with the Lions, tried to do something with them. They couldn't get it done this year, but I think he was at his peak as an offense coordinator, and I think it was a good time to get out and try to be his own man.
I also
Patriots,
think
you can go.
I was gonna say I think that he was pretty creative with the Lions. Like we saw a lot of cool plays on offense, and I think that the Bears, they have some weapons, and I don't think Caleb Williams is awful. I think he had quite a fair bit of. He had some highly inaccurate and uncatchable passes this
He
year.
got better as the year went on, which I think
He
most
did.
rookies do.
And he had no line, but I think that adding some
And he had
creativity to that
a
offense
pretty
could be
bad coach for most of the year. That
yes. So I'm interested to see what some creativity brings to that offense. And their defense was not the worst ever. So maybe the Bears have a little comeback this year.
I could see it. I could see them being not. I was gonna say not worst to first, but worst to pretty decent because they're just in
This
such a
is
tough division.
this isn't bold by any means. Maybe a little bold. Last year we saw the Lions and the Vikings absolutely go off, and the Packers make the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
I'll take a little bold take. I don't think that the Bears will come in last.
Yeah,
In that
that's what I was trying to kind of get at. Like, I don't think they're going to be
Yeah.
first over the Lions, or maybe not even second, but I could see them maybe putting together a winning season and
Yeah.
squeaking into playoffs.
Maybe the playoffs. I think they can.
There's always teams. It's never the same 14 teams every year.
You're right, for sure.
Patriots signed what's probably the most obvious hiring, Mike Vrabel. It was talked about since they needed a head coach. As soon as they fired Gerard Mayo, everybody knew they were hiring Vrabel. They exposed the Rooney Rule a little bit. We don't gotta get into that. And Vrabel's their guy. I'll touch on Ben Johnson has actually already hired his defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, from the Saints interim. He was the Saints interim head coach. He's now the defensive coordinator for the Bears. And they hired the Broncos tight end coach, Declan Doyle, as their offensive coordinator.
Interesting.
Don't know who that guy is, but want to throw that out there.
He's been doing good work with that boy over there, Troutman.
They do have some scrappy tight ends on the Broncos.
I feel like the Broncos always do.
They got Kroll,
Maybe that guy's onto something.
Troutman. They had Albert O. They had Dulcich. They always got some like crappy tight ends that they make work.
Yeah.
Maybe
they're
Declan's onto
with that
something.
pickup.
Yeah. And then with that, Vrabel has already signed his offensive coordinator and defense coordinator. And another obvious one, he brought back Josh McDaniels, Patriots legend, was formerly an offensive coordinator with them. He's brought back with Vrabel, and Vrabel brings in Terrell Williams, who was with Vrabel with the Titans. I don't think he was the defense coordinator, but he was on the defensive side of the ball with him for the Titans for 6 years, and now he's with them on the Patriots.
Love to see the coaching tree stick together.
Yeah. I feel like we're not going to have much to say about a lot of these guys, so we can just keep rolling through it. Jets signed the other Lions coordinator, Aaron Glenn, defensive-minded guy. He's really
What's
good.
your opinion on... What do you think is going to happen with the Jets, though? Like,
the Jets.
I feel like that place is a circus because of ownership.
Yeah, wait till we get to the Cowboys. The Jets seem to do the same thing. Last time they hired the great, fantastic Robert Saleh, the top-of-the-line coach, defensive-minded from the Niners. He didn't turn out too hot. This is kind of giving me vibes like that. Aaron Glenn, very good candidate, probably second behind Ben Johnson. Defensive-minded coach, going to the Jets. I hope he does well, but it's the Jets, so I just don't know, and I don't know what he's got.
Quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what he's going into exactly.
Yeah, I mean they don't have a great draft pick, do they?
I don't know, somewhere around
They're
10,
in like 10
8
to
to 12.
15?
Yeah, 8 to 12, I
8
think.
to 12. So okay, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe they try to draft a quarterback.
Yeah. I just don't know who you get at that, unless they trade up or back. I don't know who you'd be reaching, and no one's gonna be falling. I don't think to 8 or what. We could probably look up where they're at.
We mentioned Dart before. I heard there's some rumors that he moves up significantly.
I've been seeing a lot
projected.
of things on Dart. Like a bunch of teams want him as like a backup for like a veteran quarterback. Like I saw Stafford because he's only going to play 1 or 2 more years, and they were thinking about Dart for them. Jets have they have the 7th pick.
Oh, okay. So they might.
But that's still a bad spot to get like the top 2 guys. So I think unless they make a move to go up or they go back, I don't think that their first pick they would go quarterback, but maybe 2, maybe second round, maybe snag a guy.
We'll see.
Raiders in probably the most funnest. The most fun signing, Pete Carroll, old man Pete, come back into the NFL on the Raiders with Tom Brady, and I think they got a new owner or something too, a new GM or something.
Is Brady allowed to involve himself in any way in any of the ongoings and the proceedings? Like, how does that work?
Do we know? I think after I don't, maybe not during the season, but I think maybe once the season ends, I would believe he could he can probably give input, but he probably can't like attend certain things or there's a bunch of restrictions and rules on him that he's already broken and they haven't done anything about. Like he's not allowed to say certain things during the games, but he always does anyway.
That's a guy I could see like being a coach one day, no doubt.
Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I feel like unless he becomes, I mean, he's already the number one commentator on Fox. But if this doesn't like work out, like where he's like at the level like of a Romo and other guys that have done it, Aikman, I could totally see him coaching.
I think part of it is that he like wanted to get away from the sport a little bit because he's so obsessed.
Yeah,
Like, he would be a great coach. He probably knows that, but he would be he would have just kept playing. He would have just played football. So I don't know, something fun though. But it is cool to see Pete Carroll. I mean, I think he's a pretty good coach.
I think that's a great, like, there wasn't too many options at coach this year, it seemed like. So I think that's a good. I think he's on a 3-year deal. I could see it lasting 2 years, maybe all 3 years, but there's like a solid. You know he's a good coach. You know what you're getting. Just to get the boys in shape. Maybe bring some. I saw something saying they're trying to bring in Bobby Wagner now. They can try to bring in Russ, who's a free agent. Try to maybe just get a veteran core and then draft around them, trying to build
some
them up.
Guys that have some familiarity with Pete Carroll.
Exactly. Could be fun. Raiders could be a fun team.
I like the Raiders because I like Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I just want to get to this. I want to talk about Dem Boys and the worst hiring of the offseason. They hired their OC, who wasn't very good, and has never been a head coach. He's 50-some years old, never been a head coach, probably for a reason, but I think Jerry Jones just doesn't want to interview people and hired the first person he saw. So he hired Brian Schottenheimer. I don't know who the guy is. But their offense wasn't very good last season.
If you pull up his history, like his coaching history.
Schottenheimer's?
Yeah.
Then, while I'm doing this, to make matters even worse, they hired as their defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
Nice. No,
so they got one of the worst
game.
coaches last year, Matt Eberflus, as their defense coordinator, and probably a bottom half offense coordinator last year as their head coach now, with a very old owner that is stuck in his ways. So, for you Cowboys fans, you got a good future ahead of you.
So I might have the wrong guy, but if I remember correctly, if you go through this guy became, like, he was offensive coordinator, and then, like, in the middle of the season, he was demoted, like, to a lesser position, like an assistant, and then he goes to another team as an offensive coordinator, and he's demoted.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now. He was quarterback coach he's been on a lot of teams too, like a lot. He's not stuck around for the same place for a while, but yeah, he's gone from college to NFL. He was the quarterback coach, offense coordinator, passing game coordinator, an analyst, offensive coordinator, and head coach, all for the Cowboys now. So he's been there with them since 2022. So I don't know. I don't know Jerry's methods, but
I mean,
it seems like the Colts, the Seahawks, the Jags, the Rams, Jets, Chargers, Redskins at the time, all kind of passed up on him for like promotions, and he just went to different teams. And I feel like that's maybe for a reason.
Yeah, and I don't understand. Well, I understand why, but I think everybody wants Jerry Jones out, but you can't really do that.
I mean, yeah, the guy, it's just, he is so, like, one-minded. Like, it is his way, and he is right. And that's why I think these coaches, he just didn't want to, like, I feel like, I don't know the guy personally, but I feel like he just didn't want to interview a lot of people. Like, they didn't interview many people. They fired Mike after, like, the 1 week where, like, they could then do interviews, so then they were behind on the other 6, and then Mike couldn't get in with those other 6, kind of screwing him over, screwing themselves over. Then people got hired. Then I think Jerry was like, oh shoot, we messed up, let's just hire offense coordinator. I don't even want to do the process because all the best people are gone.
It's a circus. I actually don't care because I don't like the Cowboys at all, but
yeah, exactly.
I don't think anyone wants him there. I think he's an idiot. I think it's a mess. I think all he cares about is making money, and he's going to do that either way because everybody loves the Cowboys. Everyone who loves the Cowboys loves the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You could do whatever you want. You could
Mike
light the
McCarthy
team on fire.
put together like an okay seasons, and all Cowboys fans loved him. And I mean, was he really that good?
Good stat though, right, for their rushing game.
Hmm?
A good stat about the Dallas Cowboys rushing game though, right?
Oh, you're lobbing me right now?
Yeah.
The Eagles did rush for more touchdowns in one playoff game than the Cowboys did all season. And their offensive coordinator is now the head coach of that team. Next, Jags hire the meme of the coaching carousel, Liam Cohen. Have you seen these videos of him?
Yeah, can I get an impression?
Can I get a Duval?
I mean,
Duval.
what's going on there, dude?
The guy seems so awkward.
Ugh. I don't know much about the guy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
I know.
What was it?
Well, he screwed
this
over the
weekend
Bucks.
Or yesterday. How'd this happen? Fill me in.
He was the Bucks offensive coordinator, I believe, and he agreed to return to the Bucks, and then the next day agreed to meet with the Jags to interview, and then accepted the job the same day.
That's disgusting. I hate.
So he didn't. He never There was never pen to paper on the deal with the Bucks, I guess, but. Yeah, he told him he was going to stay, and then he left the next day.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know much about him. He was just a funny guy. But that's it for the main six. The Saints are the only team to still need a coach. They've interviewed with Mike Kafka, Kellen Moore. Cliff Kingsbury denied interviewing with them, which I love. Similar to Ben
Cliff.
Johnson. I hope Cliff stays with the Commanders for a couple years and gets like his repertoire and his resume up a little bit because he was a coach before, obviously. Because I mean, he's looking good, so I don't want him to catch lightning in the bottle and go to a different team and collapse and get fired or something. So I hope he does well with the Commanders.
I had praise for him last week. I said I think he's doing a really good job of managing a young quarterback and giving him a scheme that he can play really well. And Jaden Daniels looks fantastic, and I think part of it is because the coaching is pretty fantastic on offense. I agree with you. Stay there, get your reps. Maybe you become head coach at some point.
That's true. Dan Quinn's doing pretty good too there, but
yeah.
I saw you do the thumbs down to Kellen Moore. I want the Eagles for 1 year just to keep both the coordinators.
I feel like it doesn't happen so much when you're firing on all cylinders. I feel like these coordinators want to become head coaches, and it's like that's fair and all, but. That's just the love of the game, keeping the squad together. I hate seeing guys leave.
Jalen Hurts, in his 9 seasons as like a professional player in college and NFL, has had 8 different coordinators, offensive coordinators.
Wow.
That's just nuts. And everybody and their mother hates on Nick Sirianni, but Nick Sirianni is the guy that's hiring all these guys that are getting head coaching positions, and he's the guy deciding to be a run team, and he's making a lot of decisions that are looking pretty good for the Eagles. And he has brought us to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. I'm not saying the guy's a genius, but what he's doing is working. So I think he deserves a little respect because everybody talks about the coordinators every year. It was Steichen and Gannon, and then it was whoever we had. I don't even remember. And then now everybody's talking about Kellen Moore and Nick Fangio, but no one gives Nick Sirianni any credit.
They say he's a culture guy, but I mean the way I look at it. If you gotta buy, I know you got a lady. If you gotta buy her a bouquet of flowers, and you go to the florist, do you let them put together the flower bouquet, or do you do it yourself? You know what I mean? If you got an expert, just let the expert be an expert.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing the right thing.
He can just be a culture guy.
He's still the head coach of an NFL team. Like he's doing stuff behind the scenes. Maybe he's not calling the plays on offense or calling the plays on defense, but he's like helping making those plays. He's making decisions for like schemes and what our team has become, which is a running team, and he's brought in those guys. He's brought in other coaches around them. He's input on players, drafting. Like, yeah, I agree. Like he's very culture. The guys like him, but I think he deserves a little credit for like being a pretty good coach.
I agree.
Every time we lose, it's fire Sirianni.
Yeah, I mean we were undefeated in the Baldiani era.
Yeah, well, 1 we lost to the Commanders.
Oh, was he bald at that time? I thought his hair was coming back.
I mean, well, oh yeah, when he was like bald, we were undefeated. But we're like 14-1 now since he's cut his hair.
Yeah, Yeah, pretty crazy.
And
stuff.
we're like 13-0 in games Hurts has finished this season, or not this
Yeah.
season, but like since.
Can't
you know
argue.
what I mean.
That's the opposite
You know
of
what I mean.
last year.
Less Eagles talk.
Okay.
Yeah, but the Saints, I think the Saints are going to take their good old time now because every other position is filled. So they haven't interviewed too many people. There's a couple other names that don't have that aren't as credible as like Kafka and Moore, but I think they're going to take their time because there's no need to rush anymore. Mike McCarthy, I think, is going to sit a coaching cycle out. I don't think there's any reason to like scramble and try to go with the Saints. I think the Saints is the worst team to go to out of all the teams because they have no quarterback. They have an old running back. They have Olave, who's had 5 concussions as their best offensive player. Their defense has been losing guys. They traded Lattimore. Jordan's old.
Look at their division too. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have any stars.
The
but
Bucks,
it's
the
like-
Panthers are young and upcoming. The Falcons were frisky this year. Saints are the worst in the division. Don't got really any position group that's good. And I think that's a tough spot to go to. So I don't know who's going to want that job or who they're going to want. But we could probably touch on that in a couple weeks when they hire someone.
I agree.
I have
Where does that bring us?
I have a list of coordinators that got hired. I can go over that, or we can talk about something else.
Why don't you just give it to us quick?
I'll do it real quick. Lions lost both their coordinators, so they hired from within, which I love. They hired their passing game coordinator as their offensive coordinator, and they hired their linebackers coach as their defensive coordinator. Seahawks got Clint Kubiak, who was the Saints offensive coordinator. They lost him after the season with all the change, and their new head coach will bring in new coordinators. So the Seahawks got the Saints offensive coordinator. Falcons brought in Jeff Ulbrich. I didn't write down which coordinator. I forget which one. But he was the Jets interim coach after they fired Saleh. Bengals got Al Golden, Notre Dame's defense coordinator. Whoever was talking about Notre Dame's defense. So that's a fun
Their
one.
defense was pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Colts got Bengals defense coordinator. Little swap kind of. Lou Anarumo, and the Bengals defense was terrible. It's kind of that's like
weird. Yeah.
It's like a Matt Eberflus hire. They hired.
I mean, they had
one
some
of the worst
best
defenses.
offense,
Yeah.
and they still lost every game. You think that's a surprise?
I don't know, but yeah, the Colts owners I think similar to Jerry Jones. So Browns then hired their passing game coordinator as their offense coordinator, and the Niners brought back Bob Saleh. He was there before he went to the Jets, and now he's back, which I think is good for him. I think he tried to be a head coach, rightfully so, and I think he realized maybe it's not for him, and he went back to the team that he was succeeding at. So I think that's nice for him, nice for the Niners.
Agree. I like that.
Done with that. No more
We had
coaches.
the football
Don't
round.
worry, guys. Wake back up. You see this Jimmy Butler stuff going on?
Dude.
He's been
I
suspended
don't
like
even
4
know-
times.
First of all, I don't really know like how they can keep suspending him, but I also completely agree with suspending him. The guy is like trying to sabotage the team basically. And I just feel like I've always been the kind of guy who's like, that's got to be disrespectful to the organization. Like, I don't care if you're unhappy with what's going on or you feel like you're being wronged too, but like, you went to that team, you had some success with that team. Like, let them get a good trade package for you. You can say, I demand a trade, but give them some time to work it out. Like, he's worth pennies now. It's not like he's playing for them.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
what I was
either-
going to touch on. It's like, I feel like as soon as this happened, you should have just traded him because his stock has fallen every single time he gets suspended. And you're doing it to yourself, kind of. Just like, just give up and shop him. He's clearly not going to stay. You're going to end up getting nothing for him when you could have gotten something. Just accept that he doesn't want to be on the Heat. I wouldn't want to be on the Heat. They're like the Sixers. They haven't done anything in years. They make the playoffs and fall out. Like, so, I don't know. Jimmy Butler's being a little bit of a diva. I think the Heat are being a little bit of diva.
I don't understand from either side. Like, Jimmy Butler seems like the kind of guy that wants to play basketball, and he's such a hard worker. He's a dog. He seems like the kind of guy that wants to win, and that's what he cares about. Like, I didn't really think he cared about the money, and like he went to Miami. I don't remember entirely how I felt, but it was like maybe he just wants to go party in South Beach. But he seems like the kind of guy that wants to work hard and he wants to play. Like, I can't imagine he wants to make this public. They could just hold on to him and say, okay, your career's over until you're a free agent.
Yeah,
Like, or if you're
they
just
could have just said
respectful on both
we're
sides,
gonna
you can just trade
we
him.
will we will accept it and try to trade with you, and then he would have played while he was trying to get traded too. So they would have had Jimmy Butler still. They would eventually found a deal, and Gonzman would return. Now they're suspending him, losing value, not having him on the court. It's just like I don't. It's a lose for everybody.
It feels
But
like
now-
this is like
But now
almost
it's like a
an Aaron
pissing
Rodgers.
contest. It's like who's going to give up first? Is Jimmy Butler going to come back and play first, or are they going to end up trading him first? And it's been so long now that they're both just like, no. So it's who's going
Yeah.
to break first?
Yeah, I honestly haven't been too tuned into the NBA. I'm sure that'll change.
Yeah,
with
after the
Bowl
Super
here.
Bowl, yeah, I'll definitely watch more Sixers basketball, which inherently will get me more into basketball, and then I'll be expecting the baseball season, which is my favorite sport. So we'll definitely touch on some baseball stuff in the upcoming weeks. Teams, free agencies, maybe some projections for teams, our opinions and predictions. That'll probably come after the Super Bowl.
I've got a critique though on the NBA.
Yeah.
You got a game in Paris in the middle of the workday. The
Yeah.
working man's dream. This is why I'm not even a huge baseball guy, and one thing I love is that they'll throw some baseball games on in the middle of the day. You
Yeah.
don't have to watch it closely. You just throw it on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's on in the background. Maybe in the office, everybody gets into it. You get to watch a little sports during the day. I forget what they call them. They call them like it's like something with like business guys. You take your customers
Business
to
person
these games.
special.
Exactly.
Weekday day game.
So why is the game on NBA TV that I don't have? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know how that's on ESPN.
What are we doing? How are the people in Paris watching the game? How are you? What's going on here? Not a fan. That's
Yeah, I
all.
feel like I didn't know that was a thing until you said it. Like I didn't know there was a Paris series or whatever. Like I feel like baseball and football, the Mexico games, the London games, the Germany games. Baseball had the London games. I'm gonna mess it up. One was Korea, one's Japan. One was last year, one's this year. But anyway, they hyped it up so much, and they do so much advertising it for it, merch, big games, special jerseys, whatever. And NBA, I think they did like China before. And like
Yeah.
you never like they don't. It's like they just do it for like the money, and they like put it under the rug. Like don't actually watch this. Like we don't really care.
And
I
that's
think they
like
should be
if
wanting
you
to
look at those
expand.
like the MLB did that series. I think it was Japan this year, or do you think it was Korea?
I
Whichever
think it was
one.
Korea. It's Korea because I'm pretty sure Shohei this year is playing in it
Okay.
for Japan. I think it was
So they
Korea
do
'cause they had,
that,
it was
like-
Padres because they had like Ha-Sung Kim, who's a free agent still. We'll get into that maybe another day.
And they do it like before the season, so everyone's like, "I want to watch regular season
Yeah,
baseball."
exactly.
And they tune in. Same way with the NFL. They put that game at 9:30 in the morning because of time zones, partially, but also like you wake up. It's
And
not-
Brazil was first week of the year was Brazil. So like you want to
Mm-hmm.
like you don't care where it's at, you want to watch it. And the fact that it's in Brazil is cool, I guess. Not this year, but whatever.
Fire Adam Silver.
Fine, yeah. I don't. Yeah, that guy. I feel like he has like the monkey like clapping in his head.
Yeah, I didn't love that, but I'm sure we'll get into some more basketball.
Yeah.
Get into some
You been
more
watching
baseball.
any other sports that you're gonna get into in this football absence we're gonna have?
We had yesterday one of my buddies from our group chat, Stevie and I. We were
He won't
watching
watch
the
this.
TGL.
Yo, Steve, frick you.
He won't watch this.
He
but
won't
we were
watch
watching
this.
the
He hates us.
TGL, which is like Tiger Woods. It's mostly Tiger Woods and a bit of Rory. They have like their own
I haven't
golf
watched
league, and
it
it's
yet,
like
but I know
a
what it
giant.
is.
Yeah, giant simulator, and you like drive into it, and then once you're near the green, they have like this little digital green, has all this engineering. You can morph the green. There's like bunkers around it, and it's really fast. And also like for anyone who likes golf, I know people look at it like as an old person sport, but people are coming around to golf, and you get to like really see the guys' personalities. Whereas in like the 4-day tournaments, they're really locked in. Sometimes you hear them chatting with their caddy about their shot, but really nothing else. And it's just all these guys like messing with each other the whole time. It's super funny.
It's like the anti-golf. 'Cause golf's supposed to be like quiet, respectful, like peaceful.
Exactly.
But this is like
The best part-
rowdy teams, camaraderie, like chants, mic'd up.
Exactly. And they have the best part is they have this hammer.
I've heard of the hammer down.
The team starts with a hammer, and like at any point in a hole, you can throw the hammer, and the other team can either concede or play the hole for double points. So you either give up for 1 point or you play for two. So like you could have a 12-foot putt and you might make it, and the other team has a chance, but then they have to decide if they want to accept your hammer, and you have to make this putt.
That's fun
to push. It is pretty fun. But yesterday it was super fun. We were throwing in some cheesy bets. Tom Kim looked fantastic. He almost had a hole-in-one on the simulator, which was kind of cool. And then Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy were playing a couple head-to-heads, and they're both legends. So it was pretty exciting. I'll probably watch more of that. It's like once a week. It's on a day where there's other games for like basketball.
What channel is it on? ESPN?
Yeah, ESPN and ESPN Plus. Pretty entertaining. Show. I'd recommend just throwing it on for something to watch.
I like golf. I watch golf when it's like the big ones. I'm not super into golf, but I know a lot of golfers, so I definitely probably give it a watch when football's not around anymore and baseball's starting up still.
A good example was with Xander. Do you know Xander Schauffele?
Mm-hmm.
He's like very good at golf, and he's very he seems like quiet and boring if you just watch the tournaments. But he was like one of the loudest guys.
Like Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah, he was just messing around, having fun. It was awesome. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So I'll probably get into that a little bit. Maybe anything from you? Anything that you want
to hit this WWE minute recap real quick?
Are we prepared today?
I'm more prepared than last week. I don't got like a script, but I got like bullet points and the Rumbles on Saturday, so I can talk about that a little bit.
All right, I'm going to count you in. 3, 2, 1.
Raw was last night. We're recording this on Tuesday. Seth and Gunther started off in the ring, giving some promos at each other. Seth's in the Rumble. Gunther's the world champion. Logan Paul comes out, interrupts, declares himself into the Royal Rumble. He's a WWE superstar. After that, Penta declared he's newly debuted. He's going to be in the Rumble. It's going to be super fun. A bunch of women declared as well. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez beat the tag champs. Maybe that will earn them a title shot in the future. And there's another tag team match on the men's side. The Judgment Day faced the War Raiders in a tag match where JD McDonough of the Judgment Day absolutely showed out. The guy, this is real, punctured his lung and broke multiple ribs in the match. He's been out for a few months, but he looked fantastic, but they lost to the War Raiders, who retained their tag team championships. New Day had a fun segment with Xavier Woods' parents. They recently turned heel or bad. Roman Reigns was announced as the cover of WWE 2K25. A little pause real quick, but MLB The Show, they announced Gunnar Henderson, Paul Skeens, and Ellie De La Cruz on the cover. Just want to throw that in there with the video game talk. Resume. End of the show, Cody Rhodes came out after Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn's match, in which Sami Zayn accidentally kicked Cody Rhodes. Oh no, trouble in paradise. And then Punk came out afterwards, and they had a little promo, Punk and Cody. Very good, very passionate, very real. And Punk declared that if he wins the Royal Rumble, he will challenge Cody Rhodes for his title. And that was the end of the show. Good show.
Wow.
Royal Rumble is this Sunday. I know I'm going over.
That's right. Keep it going.
Was I like a minute there? Was that a pretty good minute? Oh, God.
Minute 40.
Royal Rumble is this Sunday. Maybe we should make it the WWE 2 minute.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble is this Sunday. It's 4 matches. It's tag team match, DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns, 2 out of 3 falls. I think DIY is going to retain. Then it's Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens in a ladder match for the Undisputed Championship. I think Cody's going to retain, but I think Sammy and Randy are going to get involved in the match. And then there's 2 Royal Rumbles. I don't know exactly who's going to win because there's so many possibilities this year. There's going to be a ton of returns. They should be really fun. If you got nothing to do Saturday, tune in 6 p.m. on Peacock. It'll be really fun. This is my favorite show of the year.
Love it. You got me excited for it. But I think Punk's going to win now that you said that.
Yeah, I can't tell if they're like telegraphing that he's going to win or if they're trying to like hype him up for them to swerve us.
That'd be funny if he like ran in and he immediately got thrown out.
Yeah, like do you know the Royal Rumble? Like the concept of
like
it?
Every 30 seconds or something.
2 minutes.
Somebody new run.
Or 90 seconds.
Oh, okay.
It's long. They're long. There's 2. They're each like an hour, 20 minutes long. They're fun.
The last one I watched was 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the winner of that one?
Drew McIntyre.
Maybe I'm wrong on the year. It was Edge.
Oh, that might have been 20. You might be right. Yeah. They won it like back-to-back years.
We were in college and we were like, let's put this on, and we were like, we should bet on Edge
Now I
on
want
like
to know him, right?
Bovada or something ridiculous.
You can
So
bet
we were like, we should bet
on
on
some
Edge, and
offshore
his
things.
odds were crazy, but we didn't bet on him because we're like, we can't. Like that's just one of the names we know. And then he did win, and we were super hype. And it was snowing at Penn State, and then we went sledding. That's all I remember.
2020 was Drew McIntyre. 2021 was Edge. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I want all I want is someone like fun to win, someone unexpected. Because usually every
Right.
year you can tell who's gonna win, or like you have a very strong inkling. But this year there's like a lot of they're pretty stacked rumbles, and there's a lot of options in men's and women's, so it's gonna be really fun. I'm gonna watch with my cousin whose basketball game I'm going to right after this.
Very nice. Well, we
that's our-
are at an hour.
yeah,
if
that's
you
our
want me
hour.
to let you get to that basketball game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we hit all the main topics. Next week, big one. Gonna have a big surprise for our loyal viewers.
And we'll have
word-
a lot of Super Bowl content.
A lot of Super Bowl content. We'll do some contests. We'll do picks, obviously. We'll do deep dives. Yeah, and if you have watched this whole episode, we thank you. Please comment, like, subscribe. Please help us out. Let us know that people actually watch it, and we'll keep doing this. And the word of the week is... we've been doing too much food. I was going to say banana, but... railroad.
Okay. I like
Railroad.
it. Shout out
The
their
word is
newspaper,
railroad.
Magnet.
As in railroad bar and grill, or railroad in Monopoly.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Till next week.
See ya.